Factually speaking, the Quran and the Sunnah has never commanded blind obedience to parents. The Quran and Sunnah never unconditionally says, "O child, obey everything your mother and father say." The Quran and Sunnah says, be good to your parents. وَهُنَاكَ فَرْقٌ كَبِيرٌ بَيْنَ الطَّاعَةِ وَالْبِرِّ. Allah never commands ta'ah blindly. In fact, Allah actually says when they command you to do shirk, فَلَا تُطِعُهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Right? Allah Azza wa Jal commands good conduct. Allah does not command blind obedience. This is a common misconception. Now, generally speaking, good conduct implies listening to your parents. And that is the default. However, if your parents are unreasonable for unjustifiable causes, you are not obliged to listen to them. Ibn Taymiyyah has a nice passage in this regard, and Ibn Taymiyyah says that the obedience to the parents only becomes obligatory with a number of conditions. Number one, that they command you in that which is good and not evil. So if they command you to divorce your spouse, that is not good. And if every single son obeyed his mother, there would not be a single marriage on earth lasting. Okay? So it will get me into trouble, but it is a fact. It is a factually correct statement. No mother is happy with the lady that their son chooses, right? And ironically, that daughter-in-law, when she becomes the mother-in-law, she herself will follow exactly what she hated in her own mother-in-law. This is a cycle of life. It is a cycle of life. So our job is to respect our mother and placate our wives. That's our job. Between the two, we are volleyballs. That's the reality, and that's why we are men. We cannot take sides between mother and wife. They are both our responsibility, right? So we treat both of them, the one with love and the other with birr. So Ibn Taymiyyah says, number one, it has to be in ma'roof, something in good. Number two, it has to be something that is beneficial to them and not irrelevant to them. So if you are an adult and you are working at this corporation and your mother says, "I don't like this corporation, you should go to that one." What business is it of hers which company you're working at? It's no business of hers. If your mother visits, your father visits, says, "I don't like your furniture, change your furniture." Are you obliged by Allah to change your furniture because your mother didn't like your furniture? It's not their concern. It doesn't benefit them. So the second condition, it has to be related to them. They have to benefit from it. They need you for something, not something to do in your life, between you and your wife, between you and your job. It's not their business to do that. And it's not their business. They could do it, but you don't have to obey them, right? If you do obey your mother, good for you. But are you obliged to obey your mother if she says, "Your color furniture irritates me, change your furniture," and you just spent $3,000 on it? You see, this is the point. Allah is not being unreasonable here. So the second condition is what? That the benefit goes back to them. The third condition, it is something that you are able to do without too much hardship on yourself. If you're going to cause immense hardship on yourself, and your parents can live without this request and ask, you are not obliged to bring harm to yourself or your family to bring partial benefit to your parents. So you have to weigh the benefit and the harm. If you are the only son, and your mother needs you, and the only reason you're here is because your monetary income is more, in this case, an argument can be made, you must obey your mother. Cut back on your lifestyle, have a less salary, but obey your mother because she needs you. You're the only son. You're the only. However, if there are, mashallah, 5, 6 siblings, and she just misses you, and she has people to take care of her, it's a valid concern. She misses you. But you can say, "Mother, I really want to be with you, but I cannot go back. I don't have a job back home. I'll be jobless. I have to take care of my kids, my education. I will visit as much as I can." And you politely, for a reason, and you have to answer to Allah. So you have to weigh the pros and cons in this regard. You are not obliged to obey. Now, if you do, I'll be the first to say, Allah will bless you. I'll be the first to say. But this is fiqh, not adab. Fiqh says what is wajib. And it is not wajib if the harm to you outweighs the good to them. It's not wajib. If suppose you're going back to a country that might harm you, imprison you. You're not going to go back I don't want to mention names, but well, you know which country I'm talking about. Like, you don't want to go back right now when that country is heading towards fascism and Nazism and whatnot, right? It's not wise to go back, especially you're young and you have your future ahead, you have your children ahead of you. Why would you risk that? Maybe you politely, but even if you don't agree, you have never do you have the right to be rude. Never do you have the right to be harsh and mean. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, with this we conclude, if they ask you too much, this is in the Quran, if they ask you too much, your parents, right? Then, قُلْ لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَيْسُورًا. Give them optimistic good words. Inshallah, I will do it my best, inshallah, right? Don't be nasty even if they're over demanding. And Allah says, give them sweet words. Notice, Allah doesn't say obey them. Allah says, just make them happy and whatnot and be good to them. Don't be rude, but you don't have to give them everything that you don't have. So, bottom line, obedience to parents is not obligatory unconditionally. It is only obligatory if, number one, they're commanding you in something that is overall Islamic. Number two, it is dealing with their existence and their benefit and not neutral to them. And number three, that it is reasonable for you to do without a loss that is more than the good they will gain. And in the end, you have to answer to Allah, not to me, not to anybody else. So if you can stand on the Day of Judgment and say, Ya Allah, I know my mother asked me for this, but I know her situation. It was a desire, khwaish, and I have a haja, a need. And a desire and a haja are not the same. And you can always make up by visiting more often. Wallahi, I say to you that spend money to please your parents, even if it comes at some loss to you. Prioritize visiting her over any vacation, for example. Prioritize making expensive phone calls. These is all free. Once upon a time when, all of us remember, our kids don't even know we had to save money to make phone calls back home. Our kids are clueless. They have no idea of this regard. We had to save money to call back home because it cost, how much was it? $3 or something back then? $3.50 I have it, huh? $4, okay. We had to go those long calling cards and 15 digits and other digits, and our kids just pick up their cell phone, Skype this and that. Allah Mustan, they has no clue as to the haraj we went through. We all did it for our parents and whatnot. Bottom line, do your best to please your parents, but you don't have to obey them unconditionally, but you can never be rude. And the better you are to them, the more Allah will bless you. With this,